Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you my day 22 art journal page, and this is for the hashtag event AJ Snark Attack 2020 that we are offering over at Art Joy of Sharing Art Community on Facebook. Link to the group will be below if you'd like to ask to join. Be sure to answer the questions. So today I'm doing something that I don't do often, and that is using distress inks and stamps to do my page. I have all these things. It's just I generally tend to do collage and um, I like to glue stuff. I like to draw a little bit. And so this is a departure for me. It's not, I don't know why I don't use these things, but I had a couple stamp sets that somebody sent me. I own tons of stamps. I just never get them out. But these were from Diane Reevely and Dina Wakely, which are two of my favorites and manufactured by Ranger. And then, of course, the Distress Oxide inks are manufactured by Ranger. And this was filmed during the live stream show today over on the Art Joy of Sharing live stream channel with Peg, and she was using Distress Oxide inks as well. So I decided that we would just do the same thing. Distress Oxide inks and some stamps. So as you can see, the first thing I did was to add some colors to my page. This is a Ranger product from Diane Reevely as well, the Dilutions Dialogue Journal. It's with manila cardstock like a tag, smooth cardstock. So I used one of those sponge applicators and applied some of the inks to the page. And then we are talking about would you be able to get that oxidizing, how it works with water with these particular types of inks, which is very interesting. You can do so many things by just splattering or smushing water on there, and that it oxidizes and becomes like little white areas and changes how it looks. And so we're trying to find out if you could use a spray to do that. And so I grabbed one of my mica sprays from Tattered Angels. Tattered Angels company doesn't exist anymore, but they have a different company that makes the same products. I just can't remember what the name of it is, but this is a mica spray, and I decided to try it and see if it would work. It didn't. It just added mica to my page, which was fine. I like sparkly, shiny stuff, and so that was fine. But then I put some water on as well so that I could show the contrast between how each thing works. So I splattered some more of that mica on there too because it just looked pretty after I added another layer of color. So then I wanted to make a contrast, so I decided to use some golden black gesso at the bottom to just kind of give the page a ground and really kind of messily, to be honest. Put it on with a brush that gesso is so opaque. I mean, it just does not show anything through it. One layer and bam, you're done. It's also matte though, so that's a contrast between the sparkly mica from that spray and of course the oh, I can't even talk today. The Distress Oxides are also matte. So it was kind of a mattified page with a little bit of sparkle, but nothing crazy. Then I just wanted to add some patterning in all this color. Like I've got the black at the bottom, I've got the colors at the top, and I need something to connect them to make them more cohesive. So I decided to use this tissue paper that it comes in a roll. It's got all different types of stuff in this big roll of tissue paper. It's got typewriter looking writing, it's got handwriting, it's got music, it's got some dotty and some just different lines of all these different papers. So I decided to just tear up a few bits of them and glue them down on the page so that that black is now coming up into the color. And this was my first layer of doing that. And I'm just using a glue stick, a Yoo-hoo glue stick to glue it down. Little torn pieces of tissue paper. The tissue paper that this is printed on doesn't dry out completely translucent, so you can see a little bit of the white as well. It's kind of semi-translucent. I think it would be better if it was, when you got it wet, it just completely blended into the page like cheap tissue. But then it wouldn't be as sturdy. So I guess it's kind of a toss up of what you want out of your product. I believe this is made by Hazel and Ruby. And I'm not sure if that company's still around or not, but I've had this tissue paper for a long time. Ranger makes a similar product. If Hazel and Ruby aren't around anymore, I don't really know. So I've got all these little pieces on there, and I'm thinking that's looking better. Now I feel like the black is coming, the pattern is coming more in to the colored area. I did want to kind of make that organic shapes at the bottom stand back out, so I put a little bit more black gesso on there. I also had splattered some of the shiny mica spray at the bottom too, so you're getting a little bit of contrast with that. Then I started using the stamps. This is a set from Diane Lee Dilutions. All of her stuff confuses me, I tell you. Dilutions, and it's manufactured by the Ranger Company. Has some borders in it, and I like this little checkerboard one, but I didn't want to use it as a border, so I just decided to use it as a vertical element on my page to connect the dark with the light, or the dark with the colorful. So I used black archival ink to start out with, and it starts to kind of almost look, it reminds me of a city, sort of like skyscrapers in a city. I'm not sure. I mean, that's really abstracted, but you kind of gets the feeling of it with these vertical lines. Then I started using some of the distress oxide. Bleh, I can't say this stuff. Those inks as well with the same stamp, and just continuing to do some of the colors and connecting the top to the bottom with these vertical lines in different colors. The same colors I used in the background, of course, which are cracked pistachio, fossilized amber, something coral, I think, and something with grapes, I believe. I don't have all the colors memorized. So then I got out a pen brush with India ink in it. This is a Pentel product, and just made some lines. I've been into scribbly, squirrely lines for a while now, just because it helps me take my frustration out to just scribble really hard. But in that case, I was more careful. That pen can make a really fat line all the way to a very thin line, so you can see there's variation on my scribbles depending on how hard I press down on the pen. That's why I like it. Also, it's permanent because it's India ink. It dries permanent. So if I put something wet over the top of it, it doesn't run or smear, which some other pens will do. I had this one other stamp that's kind of a fern, and I decided to use that one. It's from a Stampin' Up! Set. I don't even know which one. I used that one a little bit too to kind of bring in some nature, because I was planning on using these bird stamps, which are from Dina Wakley, also manufactured by Ranger Company, but different designer. And they're kind of scribbly bird drawings, which are very loose and free in their drawing style, which I enjoy. I really like that. So I wanted to try them out and use them on this page. So I stamped 3 different ones out of, I think there's five or six in the set, and stamped them on just regular old scrap of, regular printer paper. And then I'm coloring them in using my Neocolor 2 water-soluble crayons and a water brush. And in that way I can kind of imitate some of the same colors that are in the background. I can bring those in. They're not the exact same colors because they're not manufactured by Ranger and they're not distress, but they have similar colors. I mean, all the people have colors that are close enough to each other that you can use them together. Back in the day when I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator like 15 years ago, for 10 years, I was really obsessed with having all the things have the same color. So you've got cardstock and ink pads and ribbons and printed papers and just every kind of thing came in these 48 colors, and I was obsessed with it. Now I don't care at all about that. I don't really feel like you need to run out and buy all the distress products in all the same colors so that you can use them together. I think other things can be used. You know, you can mix it up, right? You can mix it up. So I cut out my little birds after they were colored, and I glued them using my Yoo-Hoo glue stick to my page. It's not really, there's not a lot of nature going on this page, so of course I needed to draw some branches for them to sit on. I'm not sure what that black at the bottom represents other than contrast, but I got back out that little pocket brush. Oh, first I smeared some of the splatter there and had to fix it. I'd meant to put a bird over it and then it would just not, wouldn't see it anymore, but I needed to fix it. So I put some white paint and then some more of that Distress Oxide ink over the top so that it wouldn't be so obvious that there was a big smear there. You know, these things happen. Making sure everything's glued down. So now for detail work, I used the pocket pin and added in some branch for the birds on either side to stand on. The one in the middle is kind of standing on in the black stuff, whatever that is. And then to kind of maybe go around some of the lines, I drew some leaves and some, to make it look like a branch because they can't just be floating in the air. It doesn't make any sense. And then after that, I wanted to scribble some more. I've been in such a bad mood. Such a bad mood. So scribbling makes me happy right now. Just scribbling. So got out the white crayon and scribbled around. Made some swirls and some squiggles and scribbled around my focal images with a little bit of white. Just going crazy with it. The faster I move, the more crazy it is. That's just mark making, scribble mark making, and it just makes me happy. So I did that, and then I think I used a Stabilo black pencil around the outsides of the birds again to try to get them to stand out a little bit more. A stamped image with a silicone stamp like that doesn't come out as dark as a mark. If you're marking with a pen or a pencil, it's darker than the stamped image, even though you're stamping in black. So sometimes I feel the necessity to go over the lines or to go around the lines and intensify the black. So that's what I was doing. And intensifying some of the color with the crayons again by coloring directly on it. So I hope you're enjoying this. Give it a thumbs up if you are. You can leave me a comment or a question. You can subscribe and turn on your notification bells. That's that little dingy-ling thing that looks like a bell. All those things help my channel. If you're enjoying this snarky month in October, hashtag AJ Snark Attack 2020 event going on all the rest of the month. It's day 22 today, so it's getting, another week basically of it. Then I grabbed some of the stickers from the Snarky pack, again from Ranger. Ranger's getting all the credit today. It's their snarky words, their snarky quotes, I guess, that Tim Holtz Ranger has. And I cut it apart and put it on the page. It says, "Relax, we're all crazy. It's not a competition." That's funny. So that pretty much finished the page. I put some black around it and still intensifying a few things, and then that was it. So I hope you enjoyed it. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.